always think of you when spring comes, like it's something in the air at that time. Don't know why, always dream of you when spring comes. It's like the heat on my skin takes me.
Just setting up my trail cam. I think there's a little bit of an animal pathway through here, so we'll see what we get. Okay. Have you noticed how often I say, okay, right, so, probably not because you don't edit my videos, but anyway, so, right, I've been giving feedback on an exam to the second years this week, and giving them advice on how to do well in exams, even though they've done a number of exams, and it seems like common sense stuff to me, and yet I see students making the same mistakes over and over again, so I thought maybe you would be interested in what are the top tips for passing anatomy exams. Or at least the anatomy spotter, which is the main exam that we run. It's pretty deep in the woods there. See if we can find the foxes again. What time of year do foxes have cubs? Oh yeah, by the way. So the Tweety Spy bird box has 10 blue tit eggs in it. Go and check it out. Blue tits lay between 8 to 10 eggs at a go. And the gestation of a blue tit egg is 15 days on average. A very short period of time. We should have some blue tit babies hatching in the bird box. So on the bird box I have a Raspberry Pi, you know, a little diddy computer with a camera and a little infrared light so the birds can't see the light, and a little sensor. So every time a bird moves or enters or leaves, it takes a photograph and uploads it to Twitter, which means there are about 80,000 photos of this bird box up on Twitter because it's been running for a few years. But join us and watch these birds. Let's do this at the beach. By the way, those of you that are new to the vlog is like, well, it's me doing my stuff, right? And I talk about other things. Anyway, you're here to know about or get a better idea of how to do well in anatomy exams. First of all, remember, the purpose of the exam is to get you to show off your knowledge. You've done the hard work, right? You can't do any more at this point. You've done the work or you haven't done the work. You turn up to the exam, you're going to show off your knowledge. That's how we write the exam paper, because we want you to do well. We're not trying to catch you out. And to that, if you come across a question that you think it's too easy, it couldn't possibly be that, it probably is. It's only easy because you know the answer. Just go with it, right? If it seems easy, go with the easy answer. Honestly, I see students overthinking it and thinking they couldn't possibly want that, and they change their answer to something daft and they lose a mark. This might be a stronger tip. Right. Some students of anatomy are weaker and some are stronger. Some have a really good spatial ability and some people just struggle with anatomy, even though you work hard. We recognise that. Weaker students tend to struggle more with longer questions. So I'm talking about like anatomy spotter exams, for example, where you have something, there's a pin in it, and it's asking you about that something. The simple question is, identify the structure indicated by the pin. If you know it, everybody does well on that. But if you have a clinical question or a longer question, such and such as, I won't use the climbing example, has had an accident and they've damaged this, so what effect is that likely to cause? And as the question gets longer, weaker students struggle more. Take your time. Anatomy exams are not time-pressured exams. You've usually got way more time than you need. Read that question slowly, break it up into chunks, make it clear, then answer the question. Where's she gone? She's gone in the cave. Of course she's gone in the cave. Talking about reading the question carefully, next top tip is read the question, answer the question, like everybody does that, then read the question again. You got loads of time. Read the question again after you've answered it. So many students drop marks because their brain just skims the question and they think the question is asked something else and they jump to a conclusion. If you read it again, you'll say, oh, he's actually asking for an artery, and I put a vein. Or he's asked for the cranial nerve, and I've written a branch, which they just want the cranial nerve. Right, scrub that, cranial nerve. Read the question again after you've answered it, and most students will pick up a mark or two.
Probably goes through it out there.
That cave up there.
Her just perfect, yeah, she's beautiful. Never thought you'd be here, it took me by surprise when I met you in the doorway. And a friend never.
Can you hear the pigeons? Can you see the pigeons? Seem very content. I'm not climbing over there, I'm climbing away from the pigeons. Anyway, what was the next one? Oh, use your own body. Right, that's not cheating. Don't write the answers on your hands or anything, but you can use your own body. So if you've got a question, if you've got like a specimen, if you've got a plastic model and you're trying to work out is it left or is it right, use your own hand. Put your own hand alongside that specimen, or your own head or your own brain. Put yourself into that position and work out left and right. You're allowed to do that. If I ask questions about movements, I like to see students doing those movements in the exam. Get a little dance going, right? Sometimes we'll put like a little order of questions and have do. We'll just have students doing movements. Do the movement. Check it out. Whatever the question's asking, you're allowed to do the movement. So use your own body. Surface anatomy as well, right? You're allowed to poke yourself in an exam. It's your body.
Okay.
So I've learned when climbing, you've got to stay relaxed. I mean, today I'm on bolt clipping, right? So I am very relaxed and it's an easy grade. But sometimes you push your grade, the climb doesn't turn out as you think, and you're a little way above some really dodgy gear. If you start to get tense, if you start to get worried, you start to stiffen up. If you stiffen up, you move badly, you hold on too tightly. And so at that point, you fall off. So sometimes you have to learn as a climber the hard way to stay relaxed, stay cool, think about where you are, think about where you're going and get on with it. It's the same for you in an exam. I know it's easy to say, there's a lot of pressure on an exam. But in the exam, if you chill out, calm down, tell yourself you can do this, look at each question in turn and take it piece by piece, you'll do better than being nervous, being stressed, overthinking everything. Right? Trust me. Go! Probably my final tip is learn to trust yourself. Anatomy is it's a knowledge thing, right? It takes a lot of time to embed this knowledge in your brain. So what you're really trying to do is you're trying to recall, you're trying to remember things, you're trying to recall things. And the more time you spend doing this, the better your brain gets at popping the right word into your head at the right time. But you've got to learn to trust yourself. And there are a number of ways of doing this. I tend to get my students to, if you're doing self-tests, right, look at the question, think what the answer is, and then you turn it over and look at the answer. But before you turn it over and look at the answer, think, okay, that's the answer, how confident am I? Yeah, I know that's definitely the answer. Or, it's a bit of a guess, but I think I'm right. Or, it's a complete guess, or I've got no idea, right? Make that little judgment. Then turn it over and look at the answer and remember that judgment. So, if you find you're guessing quite a lot, and you're getting it right, you're getting those guesses right, that means your recall is getting better. Your brain is getting better at pulling that information out when you need it. So you can start to learn to trust that instinct. I mean, I've been learning anatomy for 28 years, and I am still learning to trust my brain. If it pops that word into my head, it's probably the right word. I know. So learn to trust yourself, and you can train yourself to do that a little bit with self-testing. And then when you get into the exam, trust yourself. Often, that first word that your brain gives you is the right one. Don't always talk yourself out of it. Sometimes, sure, you need to talk yourself into the right answer, but that might be the right answer. And remember that us anatomy teachers want you to do well in the exam. It means that we've done a good job, means that you've done a good job, and this is what we're here for, right? Kim's cold. Time to get back into the
My nose is
sun.
freezing, my hands are freezing.
That is the problem with climbing in the shade.
Tell me a lie, and I tell you too. I say that I'm happy for the two of you. You wanna be friends, but I don't think
That's what I tell the students. So if you're a student of Swans, you'll have heard that from me before. But the students that I teach, through my experiences and through working with them, those are the main tips that I give them that improves their exam scores. It makes the biggest difference to the weaker students. But each one of those tips are the ones that I use the most, the ones that I can remember right now. So if I remember any more, I'll put them in future vlogs. Try and remember those tips and use the ones that you think are most useful for you. If you guys have got tips, put them in the comments below. If you don't normally watch my vlogs but the title was interesting to you, well, this is what the weekly vlog videos are like. It's us out and about doing things in, you know, quite nice locations, because this is where we live.
Too shabby.
I'm usually doing daft things. Right, we can't really go to the pub, it's full of people.